All of the Sunday games in NFL Week 2 have come to a conclusion. We had an overtime thriller, and the Colts, led by Daniel Jones, led a comeback as well. A whole lot to recap in episode 101 of Total Football Talk. Welcome, one and all across the nation and around the world. I welcome you all to episode 101 of Total Football Talk. I'm your host, Drew Willingham, and this week we have a very special guest coming back. He's actually been on Total Football Talk once before and has been with me on many programs many times over in the past. Please welcome back to the program and here on Sartoba Media, Mr. Robb Johnson. Welcome back there, brother.
Welcome. I am here. I thank you. I'm here. Should be a good episode of Football Talk. There was a lot of good football today. Some bad football, but some really good football.
Absolutely. I mean, there definitely was some ugly dumpster Pelican-esque football out there on the field, and we will definitely go through it all here within the open and drive.
All right, let's go. We got trips right at 42, 989 on two. Ready?
We're going to start it out with a game that you definitely, had your heartstrings pulled in, a team that has definitely had their ups and downs when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys over the last few decades. And this team today in a rivalry game, a divisional matchup between them and the New York Giants, came through in the clutch literally for you as, they won 40-37 in overtime. Dak Prescott, 38 of 52 for 361 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception, along with 3 carries for 17 rushing yards. Javonte Williams, 18 carries for 97 rushing yards and a touchdown, along with 6 receptions for 33 receiving yards. CeeDee Lamb, 9 receptions for 112 receiving yards, along with George Pickens, 5 receptions for 68 receiving yards. Along with the touchdown, and along with that, the Cowboys' total penalties, though, 12 for 106 yards. They got to clean up there. They definitely could have came back and bit them in the end, but unfortunately for them, unfortunately for the Giants, it definitely didn't work out that way. As Brandon Aubrey was perfect on the day for field goals, 4 of 4, contributing 10 points to the Dallas Cowboys' total of 40. One of those being end of regulation field goal, a 64-yarder to tie it to send them into overtime, and a 46-yarder to win in overtime. Russell Wilson, 30-41 for 450 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception, along with Cam Scatterbo's 11 carries for 45 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. Malik Neighbors, 9 receptions, 167 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns, along with Wan'Dale Robinson's 8 receptions for 142 yards and a receiving touchdown. The penalties did get outmatched by the opposing team as the Giants were 14 for 160 yards. Graham Gano, 3 of 3 on field goals, contributing 13 points, but it just wasn't enough for the Giants in the end. Looking at how this game ended in overtime, what are your overall thoughts on this matchup there, Rob, with the Cowboys winning by 3?
I think the way I look at it is that the Giants really let Russell Wilson down in this football game. And I say that because, again, the penalties, 14 for 160. When Dallas scored with George Pickens late in the 4th, Russell Wilson threw a great ball to Malik Neighbors. And when you're the Giants and you're playing a 3-deep zone like that, and you're able to throw the football in the middle when you know you have a kicker who can make it 60-plus yards, that's an issue for me because that today came down to coaching. You can't blame Russell Wilson. Of course, he threw the interception in overtime. I understand it. But you can't blame Russell Wilson. You can't blame Malik Neighbors. I mean, of course, Malik Neighbors dropped a pass that was critical in that sequence in the game. I think it was around the fourth quarter. But that defense was highly touted coming into the season. Everybody claimed it was going to be a great defense, that they were going to be able to be flying around, that they were going to be the best unit, one of the best units in the NFL. And that just didn't happen today. And the Cowboys get another win against the Giants. Dak Prescott has not lost his team since week one. I believe week one since he was a rookie in 2016. Dallas proved today that they can be gritty. They have Chicago next week. Of course, they can then they have the Green Bay Packers, which I expect them to lose that game. But today, Dak Prescott showed a lot. This team showed a lot. But I think it's very clear that Dallas paid the right man defensive-wise, because the Cowboys have 4 sacks on the season. Michael Parsons has 1. Okay, let's be honest here. Let's be very honest here. And not saying that Michael Parsons is not a great player, but the problem is that a lot of times when you have a player, when you're playing for the Green Bay Packers, there are great players all around the field. You saw last week what happened when DaRon Bland was on the field. You know, Trayvon Diggs is still a really good cornerback, but DaRon Bland is their best corner. He's their best defender. He's their best tackler in the secondary. You saw what happened today when he was not on the football field. I mean, you saw it last year against Washington, even though they gave up that long pass to Terry McLaurin late. When DaRon Bland plays on the football field, they're a better defense. They're a better team.
Oh, yeah.
They're a better football team. And you saw today. See, the problem is when Dallas is playing that zone, they're playing a lot of zone today. And you had guys running 9 routes, fly routes, if you want to call them, all day long. And there's nothing they could have done. Now, Dallas got some pressure on the Giants, but ultimately, I feel like the Giants played a better brand of football. They could run the ball a little bit with Scatterboo, but in the first 2 weeks, Dallas has proved they can stop the run to an extent. Now, when they get up against some better running backs, I don't know how much better you can get than Saquon Barkley, but get up against some teams who want to actually commit to the run, we'll see how that goes. But the bottom line is right now, they're 1-1. They're chasing the Philadelphia Eagles. The Commanders are 1-1. The Giants are 0-2. I can't emphasize this enough that next game the Giants have is so critical against the Chiefs. Something's got to give. 0-2, 0-2. But the Cowboys saved themselves today, especially going to Chicago, where they can possibly look at a 2-1 record against that disaster going on in Chicago right now. They survived. They lost. They beat a Hall of Fame quarterback. People can say whatever they want to about Russell Wilson. You know, 400.
He nearly threw for 500 yards.
Yeah, hey, listen. Hey, look, 453 yards. 453 career touchdown passes. I believe only 112 interceptions. I'm going off my memory right now, and around 46,000 yards passing. I mean, I think people. Hey, listen, I'll put it to you like this before I give it to you. I'm sure the Minnesota Vikings would have loved to have had that tonight.
Oh, absolutely. They absolutely would have definitely loved to have that tonight, because, I mean, we saw literally, like you just said, his 453 career touchdown pass, 3 touchdowns. Yeah, he had the interception, but Russell Wilson looked like he did during that 4-week stretch last year for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And can I say something real quick? I hate to interrupt you.
What's that?
If people go back to the game last week against Washington, if the Giants don't make mental errors, they're in that game. I think a lot of people forget that game was 14-6 in the fourth quarter. And I give Washington all the credit in the world. That defense, Bobby Wagner, they played great football. The Commanders have a defense, I think, that is still very good. But the Giants were in that football game last week. They just kept making critical errors. And Drew, like you said, when you brought up the picture of the young man offensive tackle, he just was making critical errors, hitting people in the head, doing this, doing that. The Giants destroyed themselves today. And that's just the bottom line. I understand when somebody just outright beats you and out physical and is more physical than you are. But Drew, let's be honest. The Giants beat themselves today. The Cowboys didn't beat the Giants. The Giants had an opportunity to win this game, go in home next week on Sunday night against Kansas City and go 2-1. They blew it. They blew it. Hell, if you think about it, they've blown the first 2 weeks.
I still like what we saw out of the Giants today more than what we've seen from the Chiefs in the last 2 weeks. But we'll get to that here definitely in a little bit because, I mean, I definitely am interested to hear your take on that game when we get towards the end of the 2-minute drill. But with this, you know, they plugged in Jackson Dart multiple times throughout the game.
I didn't like it. I did not like it.
I did not like that either. And it wasn't the right situation.
No.
And had they not done that, we might see a different outcome. You know, because it might have messed with the flow of the offense. But that's definitely something we can debate here later within the show. But as far as the first game that we have here on the slate, that was definitely a great one to watch over there on Fox. And look forward to seeing what these two teams can do to make the NFC East more interesting as we have more games to recap here within the opening drive. Now we'll take it on into our second game of the week, which is between the Seattle Seahawks and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Jesus
man.
Christ.
Jackson Smith-Njigba, man. I know right here when you see the outcome of this matchup, he played a big part in it. He really did. And between these two teams, you know, looking into it, I predicted the Steelers to actually win this week when we were here last Sunday. And with this one, I was completely wrong because Sam Darnold, you know, even though he did have 2 turnovers, he showed up for the most part. 31-17, the Seahawks take it. 22 of 33, Sam Darnold was on the day for 295 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Kenneth Walker III had 13 carries for 105 rushing yards and a touchdown, along with a reception for 13 yards. Jackson Smith-Njigba, though, as I was saying, 8 receptions, 103 receiving yards, and Cooper Kupp added 7 receptions for 90 yards as well. The touchdowns came from Tony Horton, who had 2 receptions for 32 yards and 1 touchdown, along with A.J. Barner, who had 2 receptions for 26 yards and a touchdown. The Seattle Seahawks defense, though, 2 straight weeks we have an interception by Kobe Durant. And another one there was 2 on the day here. Darion Kendrick had the second one. Overall defense had 3 sacks, but Kobe Durant being the big story on defense with the second straight week of an interception. Aaron Rodgers, though, 18 of 33 for 203 passing yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Definitely was looking his age on this Sunday. Jaylen Warren, 14 carries for 48 yards, along with 4 receptions for 86 yards. Was the highlight of the Steelers' offense, as DK Metcalf had 3 receptions for 20 yards, and that 1 touchdown pass by Aaron Rodgers went to him. Pat Freiermuth added 3 receptions for 31 receiving yards. And the Steelers' defense, even though they gave up 31 points, had 2 sacks and 2 interceptions, one by Jalen Ramsey and another by Nick Herbig. Chris Boswell added 3 completed field goals out of 3 attempts for 9 yards. With this second 1 o'clock matchup that we have here on the slate, Rob, what were your overall thoughts looking back on this game between the Steelers and the Seahawks?
So, for 2 straight weeks, the Pittsburgh Steelers have allowed a 100-yard rusher. For 2 straight weeks. Drew, on December the 7th and January the 4th, the Pittsburgh Steelers have to play the Baltimore Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what's going to happen to them in that game if they don't get their stuff together?
Mollywopped.
Yeah, mollywopped. You're right about that. Also, next week, they have to go against Ramon Stevenson and Travion Henderson. The Patriots aren't no juggernauts, but the Patriots can run the football. The Patriots are going to be more physical. Aaron Rodgers, after Mike Greenberg called him, Aaron Rodgers is back. Could the Pittsburgh Steelers go to the Super Bowl? Did you see what happened to Did you see what happened to the Jets today? Do you see what happened to the Jets today? Okay. So this is my thing. You beat the Jets by 2, and then you see what the Jets did. That tells me one thing. This is an overrated football team. Drew, anytime you allow the Seattle Seahawks to travel 3 hours, they've got jet lag. Their bodies hurt. They're sleeping in hotels where they don't want to sleep at. They're playing a 1 o'clock game. Drew, I guarantee you, we could find the record for teams that have to travel from the West Coast to the East Coast in those 1 o'clock slots. and they have to play 3 hours behind. I guarantee you that the teams on the East Coast have a winning record. For you to allow Sam Darnold and that team, who doesn't even have DK Metcalf, see this DK Metcalf. Excuse my language. I told people this DK Metcalf thing. There's a reason they got rid of him. Okay, 31-17. You come to Pittsburgh and win 31-17. Aaron Rodgers is going to continue to get a pass from the national media this week, but I'm not. He looked like Aaron Rodgers from last year. They want to blame the Jets. It's all the Jets' fault, right? No. This is Aaron Rodgers. We are going to continue to see this. And when they go to New England next week, they better get their stuff together because they're going to be probably 1-2 after that game. They should be 0-3. I see and I'm not taking any credit, Drew, away from Seattle. I'm really not. I know Seattle has improved. I know that they're a better football team. I get all that. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, Aaron Rodgers is about to get another coach fired. They better get together quick, buddy. They're about to get another coach fired. And I'm going to tell you something. If I am Mike Tomlin at this point, you know what I do, buddy? I'm going to tell you exactly what I do, Drew. And I'm not trying to be funny. But if they lose, if they don't get a winning record, I leave Pittsburgh and I go coach at Virginia Tech. Because I'm sick.
If you're Mike Tomlin.
If I'm Mike Tomlin, I leave the NFL and I got those 757 connections. If this crap continues in Pittsburgh, they paid all their money for all these players. They got all these egos. Nobody really talked about J.J. Watt and how he's not really conditioned that well. They got a bunch of old players on that team. The offense is trash. They don't have any tight end. They don't have any running backs. They played the game of their life last week against a really bad Jets team that we see now. If I'm Mike Tomlin, if this continues and I lose my streak of winning season because of Aaron Rodgers, I go to the college football, buddy.
That's a big take right here. And I actually like the suggestion of coming back to the 757. That's actually not a bad idea, especially with Mike Tomlin's connection.
More like going to Blacksburg and having that 757 connection and getting all the talent from that area and coming to Virginia Tech, because Lord knows they need it. Jesus.
They really need it because it's been several years now of very subpar and under par performance by Virginia Tech. As you know, we definitely know people there within that area that can definitely speak on that as well. But when it comes to this, the Seattle Seahawks coming to town, taking down Pittsburgh Steelers, deflating that ego of Aaron Rodgers, hopefully a little bit, even though at the press game he was like, it's just week 2, guys. It's just week 2. Even though that's what he wanted to say. But,
no, I don't want to hear any RELAX, because I'm gonna tell you why. It's time. It is time to panic. It is time to panic. This isn't the old school, Drew. This isn't the old school when he's 30. He's 30 years old. He can still fling it. No. They're in trouble, buddy. They're in trouble.
And we definitely shall see in the months to come, because through 2 weeks, we finally saw Aaron Rodgers revert back to pre-December time, because at least during the last month of the season last year in New York, he did start to look a little bit like old school Aaron Rodgers. He was starting to get his feet back under him. But this one definitely goes to show that we may see a lot more games like this one today throughout the remaining 15 games they have.
And Pittsburgh better pray that Shedeur Sanders doesn't end up doing anything in Cleveland, because they had him. They better pray because the backlash, because after Aaron Rodgers leaves this year, Drew, what do you got? You got nothing. You got nothing. The Steelers are about to go into a full rebuild mode if they don't get this stuff together very soon. That was the ugly game we saw today. Not taking anyway from Seattle, but that was ugly.
30 other teams passed up on Shedeur too, and we're already also seeing a downslide with the Colorado Buffaloes in college football, but we definitely can talk about that at another time, because Coach Prime, and I've seen what you've said over there online too, and you're absolutely right too, is when it comes to Coach Prime. You can't be buying into all that hype, because too many people did, and it was only because of the star players they had. But here and now, when it comes to Seattle and Pittsburgh, we'll have to see here in the next 5 years. They really wish they would have taken Shedeur during this past NFL draft. And with our next game that we have here on the slate, we've got between the LA Rams and the Tennessee Titans. The Rams taking down the Titans 33-19. Cam Ward struggling for the second straight week, had a little bit better numbers than he had in week 1, but still the same result. They got absolutely decimated by the end of the game because, again, the Rams winning this one 33-19. Matthew Stafford, 23 of 33 for 298 passing yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Oh, yeah, 2 touchdowns and an interception. My apologies. Kieran Williams, 17 carries for 66 rushing yards, and Blake Corum had 5 carries for 44 rushing yards and a touchdown. Devontae Adams, the star receiver for the team this week, 6 receptions for 106 receiving yards and a touchdown, along with Davis Allen's 1 reception for 8 receiving yards and a touchdown. Puka Nacua added 8 receptions for 91 receiving yards, but came in big with 1 rush for 45 yards and a touchdown, which is shown right here in this graphic that we have on screen. Rams defense, 5 sacks on the day. They were busy over there on the Rams defense, including a fumble recovery. But Cam Ward, as we were talking about earlier, he did have another dismal game. Not as bad as last week, a little bit better, but still pretty bad. 19 of 33 for 175 passing yards. Did have a touchdown, but couldn't really muster up much else on the offense when you got human turnstiles for offensive linemen. Tony Pollard, 20 carries for 92 rushing yards, and Calvin Ridley had 3 receptions for 57 yards. Total Titans penalties, 10 for 62 yards on the day. The defense added 1 sack and an interception by Cody Barton. And on special teams, Joey Sly contributed 12 points as he was 3 for 3 on field goals on the day. Looking back at this matchup right here, did the Rams just truly overpower the Tennessee Titans as a whole on all 3 phases?
Well, I have to disagree with you on Cam Ward having a dismal game. It's more like the Titans are a dismal team.
Yes, I stand
it's just more of a dismal team. And I say that because, and I will put something on Cam. Give me a second on that. 5 sacks. They're not taking care of their quarterback. Their quarterback is not being – he doesn't feel like he has any protection whatsoever. Now, I will say this. The difference when you look at the University of Miami this year compared to last year, you have their quarterback this year who is actually standing in the pocket and making good plays behind a good offensive line, not running around everywhere. Cam Ward has to learn to not run around too much. I get it. He's a dynamic player. He likes to make plays, but he has to learn in the system. But that's going to come with him getting another head coach in the future, because the current head coach will not be there in 2 years or a year from now. I can almost guarantee you it, because if he is, they're an issue. Now, Tony Pollard still playing really good football. Drew, if I'm your front office, what I do is I give the Titans 2 more weeks, and if they continue to struggle, I maybe send a 2nd-round pick to Tennessee for Tony Pollard. That would be awesome for Jaden Daniels, because they need a running back big time. Because when they got rid of Brian Robinson, I think Tony Pollard in Washington, I'm not going to say he had that Christian McCaffrey type of impact, but I'm telling you, when the 49ers traded for McCaffrey, it'd be the same thing if they traded for Tony Pollard here. I think that would be great for Washington to get that dynamic running back there if the Titans continue to struggle. Because if they go 0-3, 0-4, you need to start thinking about 2026 and getting that 1st-round pick.
Yep.
Now, to the Los Angeles Rams, let's be very clear about something. That defense is legit. Matthew Stafford is top 5 in MVP candidacy right now. To come back from a back injury the way he did. For last week, when Puka Nacua had 10 catches and he led the team in receptions, and then for Devontae Adams to do it this week, this team is absolutely dangerous. And, Drew, let's look at their schedule real quick. They got the Titans this week. Next week, I don't know how this is not the game of the week on Fox. Somehow the Cowboys and Bears are the game of the week. But for I'm trying to understand why the F the Cowboys and Bears are the game of the week when you have the undefeated Eagles playing the undefeated Rams. Somebody needs to effing explain to me what the hell is going on here. It is that game right here is critical, because that could be the game that could determine home field advantage. Now, don't get me wrong. Arizona and San Francisco are undefeated as well. But that's going to be a big-time game next week. And the Rams, for me, their defense, again, is just so dynamic in so many areas. And then when you have those 2 receivers, you got Puka and you got Devontae Adams, and then their running game is so good, the Rams' running game. And you got Blake Corum, who's going to continue to get better and better. He had 3 kick returns, I believe, for 80 yards. It's going to get better for the Rams. The Titans, they need to be thinking 20. Oh, by the way, Drew, I think they have like maybe $90 to $100 million in cap space going to 2026. Yeah. So they'll find a way to screw it up though. But anyway, yeah, the Titans need to go ahead and start rebuilding, and the Rams are legit. I love the Rams and how they play. And it's like, again, shout out to Matthew Stafford, who I was a critic of in the past. The critics, yes. the critics and my criticism of Matthew Stafford are completely dead. I have nothing bad to say about Matthew Stafford at all. Nothing.
You were heavy with the criticism during his Lions days.
I was, and then
you've lightened up over the years, but now you completely are hands off.
Hands off, and even during his first year with the Los Angeles Rams, but a little bit. But you know what?
But not as bad as you were when he was with the Lions. I remember.
I wasn't, but he deserved it. He deserved it because he had Calvin Johnson, and he should have done better. He had times where he should have done better. But this Matthew Stafford, I have nothing to say.
Especially when those times that they underdelivered with the Lions, because it was literally like this result at the end of every season. Stop, because it was absolutely Charles Barkley status. And I don't have it, but they literally needed to do this.
Stop it. Get some help.
And they did when they did one another.
Exactly.
Quarterback.
Exactly, Drew. But you know what? Everything can change in life. Life can be happy again. Just like earlier tonight when I found out Family Guy was coming back. I found out American Dad was coming back to Fox. Everything we all have times where we change our minds. And Drew, I've been so upset about life. I was upset about Matthew Stafford, but now everything is great. Because Drew, just like I changed on Matthew Stafford, I was upset about life. And then today I saw that and I said, oh my God. We're getting The Simpsons, we're getting American Dad, and we're getting Family Guy again on Sunday nights, animation domination. I said, if that can make me happy, anything can make me happy. Matthew Stafford, you make me happy, sir. Thank you.
You're witnessing it right here, ladies and gentlemen, the absolute shift in tides.
Oh gosh!
Speaking of game.
Speaking of ties, Jesus Christ!
This one was absolutely. You know it, and I know it. It was absolutely bowling shoe ugly, even for the team that won. Because yes, the Buffalo Bills put up 30 points against the Jets, but it looked pretty easy. Even when Josh Allen was 14 of 25 for 148 passing yards with only 6 carries for 59 yards. Those are not Josh Allen-like numbers. And with James Cook leading the way, he was literally the highlight of the offense because he had 21 carries for 132 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Joshua Palmer was the leading receiver on the day with only 2 receptions for 47 yards. The Bills defense did put pressure on the Jets with 4 sacks and a fumble recovery. And Matt Prater comes in big with only being with the team for like 2 weeks, 2 straight weeks where he's had action in the game. He was 3 for 3 in field goals with 11 contributed points to those 30 for a total for the Bills. Justin Fields exits early as he went 3 of 11 for 27 passing yards and 5 carries.
Please say that again.
49 yards.
Please say that one more time.
He exited early with only 3 of 11 completions of attempts for 27 yards. Yeah, he ran for his life with 5 carries for 49 yards, but yes, 27 passing yards on 11 attempts, completing only 3. With Tyrod Taylor coming in and looking like what Justin Fields should look like, 7 of 11 for 56 yards and a touchdown. Speaking of Blacksburg, there you go with Tyrod Taylor. Breece Hall added 10 carries for 29 yards, and Garrett Wilson had 4 receptions for 50 yards. But the highlight of the offense, as far as receivers, came from Jeremy Ruckert's 1 reception for 5 yards and a touchdown. Guys, out there in the chat, whether you're watching this live or in the replay, and Rob, everybody, how bad was it watching this game?
So let me say this. And I know you've heard me say this over the years. From the Giants to the Jets, Why the hell isn't Tyrod Taylor starting quarterback?
I know. You and I have talked about this multiple times on several shows.
I've been talking about it for years. I don't understand why. Hey, look, I'm like Chris Canty now. I just don't understand. He needs to have his own show saying, I just don't understand. Because
that's what it needs to be called.
That big son of a bitch don't understand anything. But anyway, I just don't understand. Anyway, let me stop before Chris Canty comes after me. Anyway, listen. So I think that the biggest story, and I talked about this when I was doing a show with Larry Patterson earlier this summer, and I think I did on Rob Johnson Sports Show too. The biggest thing that was not talked about this offseason was James Cook and his dispute about not getting paid. It surely paid off today because that guy showed that he is valuable to that football team. That guy showed that without James Cook, they ain't winning no championship. I don't give a damn. They ain't winning no championship, Drew, without James Cook. And again, the Jets got Tampa at Tampa next week. Tyrod Taylor better play because if not, it's going to be another big-time blowout. And this also shows the Steelers are overrated. How the hell they almost lose to this team? The hell is going on right now? I mean, Drew, that was – and then that defense, I mean, that defense is supposed to be the defense, and then you got the head coach who came from Detroit who's supposed to be running a good ship with the defense. And over the last 2 weeks, he's given up, what, 64 points? 64 points.
That's a lot
ladies
of points.
and gentlemen, the Jets are giving them 32 points a game.
Bro.
Like, what is going on right now? Like, if you're a Jets fan, like Mike Greenberg has to be in a corner right now. I know I keep bringing up Mike Greenberg. He must be in a corner right now, screaming and crying. Because he knows. Because, see, I'm just telling you, like it's going to get to the point where the Jets are going to probably be in the top 5. They're probably going to be in the top 5. Now, I will tell you this, though. In maybe I think 3 weeks, the Jets play the Cowboys. They will actually have 6. When the Jets play the Cowboys, you will actually see the Jets complete at least 60 passes for 700 yards. They'll still lose. But Garrett Wilson will have the game of his life. He'll probably break the NFL record in that game. But anyway, go ahead, Drew.
An NFL record?
He'll probably catch 30 passes against that team. Deron Blanders in back and look, the score will probably be 80-78. The Cowboys will probably win on a 75-yard field goal by Aubrey.
You know, they'd have to have like 60 passing attempts in the game, which we do have one quarterback we'll talk about here later at 55 passing attempts today,
Jesus
but still
Christ.
Literally throwing their arms off out here. Joe Flacco, even though we'll get to that game in a minute, I still have it on top of my head. He's thrown 90 pass attempts in the past 2 weeks.
Out here look
absolutely wild.
Out here looking like Vinny Testaverde Part 6.
Part 6.
What is going on out here? What the fuck is going on out here?
Oh, man, that's great. Jets absolutely get demolished, even though the Bills didn't really do much else outside of their running game and a little bit of D.
Drew. Demolish is not the right word coming off this week, buddy.
Decimate.
Please. We don't want to talk about the termites.
Ooh. Burn.
Oh, gold.
Golden burn. Golden burn out here in these streams.
Hey, Drew, check this out. Passports that didn't burn. Hey, Drew. Conspiracy?
Red alert! Red alert on said conspiracy. We gotta change pace. We gotta change it real fast.
Please.
We gotta change it to something else as we are here for episode 101 of Total Football Talk. We are live. Those of you watching on YouTube, X, or on Twitch, drop those comments and we will show them here within the show. It's time to take us to the next game right here. Game number 5 on the slate for Sunday afternoon games. The Patriots winning 33-27 over the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins, with all the money they are spending to this team. We talk about teams that are spending so much. You look at the Steelers and you look at the offense of the Dolphins here in the AFC. And, this team should have won, in my opinion. But some mistakes late cost them the game as Drake May was 19-23 for 230 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, along with 10 carries for 31 rushing yards and a touchdown. Ramondre Stevenson, 11 carries for 54 yards, 5 receptions for 88 yards, for a total of over 100 all-purpose yards on the day, looking around 140 all-purpose yards on the day. Absolutely crushed it for this team. As Travion Henderson took a little bit of a backseat as the rookie to this player known as Ramondre, who's been with this team for several years now, absolutely crushing it. Kayshon Boutte, 1 reception for 16 yards and a touchdown, with Mac Hollins, who had 1 reception for 8 yards and a touchdown, round out the receivers for this team. The Patriots, though, as the winning team, they had 12 penalties that cost them 75 yards. Their defense had 4 sacks with an interception by Jalen Hawkins. And on the other side for the Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa, 26-32 for 315 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception, along with Devon Achane. That's what I like to say. That's how I like to say it because it sounds badass. But, on this side, 11 carries for 30 rushing yards. He did have 8 receptions for 92 receiving yards and a touchdown, so he was better on the day as a receiver than on the ground. And speaking about all that money they're investing for the receivers, Tyreek Hill, 6 receptions for 109 receiving yards, and Jalen Waddle, 5 receptions for 68 receiving yards and a touchdown were not enough to send the Dolphins to victory lane. NASCAR pun, but hey, it is football and it is that time of year. Regardless of all that shenanigery being said, they still lose by 6 points to the Patriots, 33-27. Looking back on this game, Rob, what are your overall thoughts with how the Dolphins lost this to the Patriots?
Before I go in on this, let me just say this. I don't know what's more ridiculous, Drew. The fact that the WNBA has 2 games that are at 1 o'clock, their playoff games in the middle of the day at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday. or that the Miami Dolphins are actually getting a Thursday night prime game against the Buffalo Bills. It's going to be like 70-0. Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm telling you right now, the Rice-Charlotte game is going to be better than this. Rice is playing Charlotte the same night. I'm taking Rice and Charlotte. Anyway, Drew, I just don't know what to think anymore. How is McDaniels? How does he even have a job after this game? After next week, how is he going to have a job? I'm guarantee you, he's getting fired after Buffalo, and it bothers me because you have all the weapons. Nice dog.
That would be the grand champ of the week. It was my bad to throw it in there that quick, but that would be the grand champ pick of the week if they actually fire him. I will have to honor you next week.
I would hope so. I would hope, because they have all this talent in offense. They have a pretty talented defense, and yet and still, they traded for Fitzpatrick, and he just feels like he's just disinterested. It's like, why do I want to come back to this? As bad as it is in Pittsburgh, because they're missing him in Pittsburgh, this looks even worse. I mean, I just don't like it. And for the Patriots, Drake's cousin, Drake May, finally got a win. He did his thing. Great job for Drake May. I'm proud of Drake May.
His cousin.
Drake May, his cousin. I'm very proud of him. Ramondre Stevenson had a big game, of course, today, as we talked about. Drew, I was very proud of him and his effort. Very proud of his effort. Drake May played well. He didn't play too bad, but he played decent. These 2 teams are not contenders, Drew. What more can I say? Neither one of these teams are contenders at all. You go to the Patriots again. Ramondre Stevenson, 11 carries, 54 yards. Can I ask you a question, Drew? And I'm being very serious when I say this. Why aren't they utilizing Travion Henderson more?
They did last week. In week one, they utilized him pretty decent. I mean, he had his first NFL touchdown, but
but he only had a couple. He only had like what 5 carries. He only had 3 carries this week.
This week, yeah, he was underutilized this week in compared to how he was last week. But I think it's because they wanted to get Stevenson going.
Well, they need to make a decision because this guy is dynamic, and you're wasting him already. He's such a young player. You're wasting him already, and I just don't like it. I don't like it at all. And again, this Dolphins team struggled. They were beat down last week, and this week it was a close game, and it was because of mistakes by the Dolphins. And Drew, the Patriots never win in Miami. So for you to allow this team to come to Miami in early September and win, this is about to be really bad, Drew. Let's go ahead and look at the Dolphins schedule real quick. That's what I want to do. I want to look at the Dolphins schedule. I'm about to look at this for you guys now.
Go ahead.
The Dolphins are 0-2. They got the Bills. They got the Jets. They'll beat. Well, never mind. They play at the Panthers. Who really knows? They play the Panthers. The Browns will probably have 2 defensive touchdowns against these fools. Then they got to play the Ravens. Then they got to play the Falcons. We see how the Falcons are playing. They got to play the Ravens. Let's not even talk about that, okay? We know it ain't gonna be like it was a couple of years ago. They play the Bills. They play the Commanders. The Commanders got revenge on their mind after that stuff that they pulled on them a few years ago. You know what I'm talking about?
Facts. Yep.
They got the Saints. The Saints will probably run the ball 70 times and win the game. They play at the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers will probably F up something. The Bengals. They got the Buccaneers, and they play at the Patriots. Yeah, man, they're going 0-20. They're not.
You might as well just do this to the season for them.
Delete!
Is that bad?
Hey, listen, and you know what they'll do? Their first overall pick will be a punter. Because they're the Dolphins. They're the Dolphins. What else do you expect them to do?
And you know the rest of the franchises, the players around are saying this for that pick.
Hell to the no, no. Hell no, to the no.
I don't want that.
Bro, this team has not won a playoff game in 25 years. I don't think they've been to the AFC Championship game since 93, 92, 93. We out here see the national media always talking about Dallas is such a disaster. No. What's going down in South Florida is a complete and utter disaster. Please bring back Dan Marino. He can still play, I promise you.
I mean, you brought up the Cowboys. It is debatable when you bring up this.
This has been yet another Beating a Dead Horse presentation.
But Drew, I get it.
Just like for the Dolphins.
I get it, but I get it, Drew. Because back in the 80s, nobody knew who the Dolphins were because the Miami Hurricanes were around. Nobody has known about the Miami Dolphins in like 30 years. So I was like, ever since the Jacksonville Jaguars beat them like 65 to 3 or something like that, they haven't won jack shit. I think their last playoff game was in the Kingdome.
And the fact that you remembered that is still a total
Surprise, motherfucker.
You remember that from the Kingdom.
I was watching, but here's the funny thing. I watched that game at my Uncle Parnell's house in Richmond. I remember it to this day. I was with my grandpa. We were watching the game and the Dolphins won. They're like, oh man, they're going to Jacksonville. People were like, hey guys, I think they got a chance to the Jaguars. Then after the halftime, when they were down like 40-0, they're like, oh shit. It's over. Yeah, but in all seriousness, Drew, in all seriousness, both of these teams are in trouble, bro. Both of these teams are in trouble. I don't really know what they're gonna do the rest of the season. The Patriots got to get their stuff together. The Dolphins, man, I feel bad for them because they got a good team, and they're explosive, but man.
Yeah, and they're going to give Mike Vrabel some time. Kraft's going to give Vrabel a few years to get it together over there because they still have a lot to clean up over the past 2 years. But with the Dolphins, they don't the short leash. The hot seat it's burning now.
Yeah, of course he's black.
Who? Because McDaniel? No, it's not burning because of that. It has nothing to do with heritage.
No. I'm talking about the Patriots. I'm talking about the Patriots. I'll make a joke. I was talking about the Patriots coach.
Not anymore. Mayo got fired.
No, I'm talking about the current coach, Mike Vrabel. He's black. I'm just joking.
When did this happen?
2 weeks ago in Canada. Just joking.
Oh, man.
I'm just playing. I'm just joking. Hey, look, and listen. And listen, Drew. In light of the events that have happened this week and over the last couple of years, I'm just trying to bring harmony amongst the people. It's not that serious, people.
It's not. It's not.
Go eat some grapes and shut the hell up.
You like that? You like that?
Yes.
You race baiters.
Yes, we you like that. So let's take it on into our next game. I couldn't even click the button in the middle of the transition. I was still laughing so hard. But yes, we are at our next game on the list. Jacksonville Jaguars on the road to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. And this one was a tough one, Rob, because, for the Bengals in the second quarter, they lost Joe Burrow, hurt his little toe, and he had to go down, and he got a little banged up, but he had to come out of the game. But his team, in spite of that, won 31-27 over the Jacksonville Jags. Joe Burrow was 7-13 for 76 yards and a passing touchdown when he did go down. But Jake Browning came in and had some late game heroics as he had a rushing touchdown at the end to secure the victory 31-27. Before that, he was 21-32 for 241 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. However, he threw not only 1, not 2, but 3 interceptions in the game which could have easily turned the tide in favor for the Jags. But fortunately, Jags made their own mistakes too that we'll get to here in a minute. As Chase Brown was 16 carries on 47 yards and 2 receptions for 18 yards was their leading running back for the day for the Bengals. And finally, those receivers who equate $60 million per year, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, got action this week as they were kind of quiet in week 1. Chase was 14 receptions with 165 receiving yards and a touchdown, along with T. Higgins, who had 3 receptions for 56 receiving yards and a touchdown. Bengals defense, 1 sack with 2 interceptions, one by Jordan Battle with his second straight week of having an interception as well, and Daxton Hill. On the other side for the Jags, Trevor Lawrence, 24 of 42 for 271 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Travis Etienne, 14 carries for 71 rushing yards, 2 receptions for 18 yards, and a touchdown were his final stats. Parker Washington, 5 receptions for 76 receiving yards, and former Commander De'Ami Brown, 5 receptions for 57 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown. The Jags defense did have 3 sacks along with 3 interceptions by Eric Murray, Andrew Wingard, and Devin Lloyd. With all that being said, what was the ultimate factor besides a little bit of clock management that kind of went against the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Okay, so we've been having fun up to this point, and we've been making some great points. But this game, I'm going to be completely serious. I don't even want to make any jokes about this game. This game made me angry for a lot of reasons. First of all, Liam Cohen, the head coach of the Jaguars, was barking out instructions.
Duval.
Yeah, he was barking out. That's funny. That's a good one. That's a good one. He was barking out instructions, and Trevor Lawrence basically, I don't know if you saw the highlight, he was barking out instructions for Trevor Lawrence, and Trevor Lawrence took his hand and literally just waved them off. There's trouble in Jacksonville. How do you not get Travis Hunter involved? Travis Hunter is the ultimate Swiss Army knife. They're not using him correctly. Okay. Jake Browning comes in, throws 3 interceptions. Joe Burrow is going to be out for 3 months. And here's the thing. We look at it as a toe. Remember something. Deion Sanders got turf toe late in his career. He was not the same. Mm-hmm. That turf toe is no joke. And he can get surgery. But Drew, here's the problem. And I'm not saying I don't want to focus on the Jaguars here, but we kind of know who the Jaguars are. They're a team that's gonna dazzle us sometimes, and then they're gonna disappear. But Drew, long term, if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, you've got to start thinking about life outside Joe Burrow in the next 5 years. Because Drew, he keeps getting hurt, he keeps getting injured. You put all this money into your wide receivers. Okay. Jamar Chase is your centerpiece. Without Jamar Chase, this offense does not run. Okay. They made the mistake a couple years ago by getting rid of Joe Mixon. That was their first mistake. Joe Burrow is such a great player, but Drew, he struggled this year so far. We've seen it. And they played in the preseason. And Drew, everybody should have seen this coming. We'll go back to your game. And this is why I think you agree with me as well that preseason is so important.
Yes.
Go back to that game against Washington where he was running for his life. That is when I knew he was in trouble. It was a preseason, and he was getting all those reps. The stars were in, and they were still having issues. So Joe Burrow is going to be out till December, possibly, with that toe injury. He won't be the same. The Bengals have some real issues. The defense, I feel like, is playing better than a lot of people expected. But the Bengals have a lot they need to figure out, especially going to the future, because if these injuries continue to go for Joe Burrow, they're going to be in trouble. But as far as the Jaguars go, Drew, I just think we know who they are, and especially with the Colts playing the way they're playing, that division now is wide open. So if you are the Jacksonville Jaguars, you need to start seeing. We hear about all these other quarterbacks and their contracts, blah blah blah. Trevor Lawrence has the weapons. He needs to start living up to that contract. Bottom line.
Absolutely right. I couldn't have said it better, because you're paying him a lot of money. You drafted, Travis Hunter high in the draft, and you gave up quite a bit to take him. The one thing on defense, though, they made a call on Travis Hunter in the game in the second half where he had pass interference, which set up, where the Bengals made that run to come back. And had that call not been placed on Travis Hunter when he was on defense for that PI, I don't think that the Bengals win this game. I think the Jags still win it. So as much as we want to say that he's being underutilized on offense, I wouldn't say he's being overutilized on defense, but he still has a lot more that he needs to digest when it comes to the speed of the NFL and what you can do at that position, because he did look a little out of position when he made that attempt to deflect the ball, and he did touch him and pull on him a little bit. He's got to get that a little bit better, because they give him a little bit of leeway in college. In the NFL, they're more pressed to throw the flag, it seems, than they are in college, or at least at the level that Travis Hunter played at. So I will say, in as much as I agree with what you said, they do need to get him a little bit more up to speed with how things work on defense, because that's one thing that I saw that definitely affected the game today between them and the Bengals.
Definitely. And I think that if you're going to do it, maybe make him one of your nickel corners. Maybe have him move him around. Drew, he tackles. He can tackle. He's not one of those guys that won't tackle. You can use him as safety. You can use him as your slot corner. You can use him as your starter, as your number one, number two. If you have a guy that you're thinking that's burning you, he can go speed for speed. But I mean, it's the Jaguars, man. They're known to waste great talent. Look at Jalen Ramsey.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. Now he's starring for the Steelers today, as we talked about that earlier. And this is the first time, though, in this season that a highlight comes from the backup quarterback. Is in this picture here in the graphic. He is diving for the end zone to go up 31-27 to take this game at the end. But with that being said, we still have multiple games to cover. Let's go ahead and take it into our next one. Next one that we have here is between the San Francisco 49ers and the New Orleans Saints. I'm going to see your look here on the other side, because this game right here was definitely dumpster Pelican worthy. I mean, we clicked it earlier and we'll click it again. Bowling shoe ugly in multiple ways. Not as bad as the one earlier, because I mean, the two quarterbacks did perform in this game. Mac Jones, 26 of 39 for 279 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns playing for the injured Brock Purdy this week. As Christian McCaffrey went 13 carries for 55 yards, along with 6 receptions for 52 yards and a receiving touchdown. Jawan Jennings, 5 receptions for 89 receiving yards and a touchdown, along with Ricky Pearsall's 4 receptions, 56 receiving yards. 49ers defense, 3 sacks along with a fumble recovery. And on the other side for the Saints, Spencer Rattler had one of his best games of his NFL career, 25 of 34 for 207 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns, along with 4 carries for 14 yards on the ground. Alvin Kamara still got it with 21 carries for 99 rushing yards and 6 receptions for 21 receiving yards. Jawan Johnson added 5 receptions for 49 receiving yards, and Chris Olave had 6 receptions for 54 receiving yards. The Saints defense, 3 sacks and a fumble cut recovery as well. Both defenses were pretty similar when it came to that. But what do you think in this game really tipped the scales into why the 49ers were able to win at the end?
I have to give credit, first of all, to the Saints. If Spencer Rattler continues to play like this, I mean, and if they keep losing, maybe they'll find themselves another draft pick. They don't have to draft a quarterback next year if he continues to play like this. But I just think that the 49ers will. Christian McCaffrey, when he's on the field, he makes you think. He makes you have to do certain things while you're on the football field. So I think the biggest thing today, this was a big indictment on Brock Purdy, because Mac Jones came in and looked like Brock Purdy.
Very true.
I mean, Kyle Shanahan can plug anybody. I mean, if it ends up being that Mac Jones plays as well as Brock Purdy, they just wasted a lot of money, because this is a plug-and-play quarterback system in San Francisco. You can't say that for the rest of the league. I mean, you can't just go to Baltimore and do what Lamar Jackson does. But in this offense, in this system, they can plug and play. They take advantage of people. They take advantage of people who have been underutilized in other places. So Mac Jones was definitely the difference. Ricky Pearsall, coming off that near-death shooting he had last year, played a great game. Jawan Jennings is proving that he deserves a contract. Yeah, the 49ers defense played well, but I still have some concerns about them as they get into deeper in the season, injuries, things like that. But, I mean, this is 2 weeks in a row that the New Orleans Saints have been competitive. 5-point loss to the 49ers. What was it? 7-point loss to the Arizona Cardinals.
The Kellen Moore effect.
Hey, they're playing good football.
Yeah, you got to give it to him. I mean, he definitely is a little bit of a quarterback whisperer, being a former quarterback, and has had success. I mean, he helped out Dak Prescott with you over there in the Cowboys. He had a pretty decent year last year with the Chargers, as offensive, coordinator.
Well, hold on for a second. That was 2 years ago. And here's the thing, Drew. Nobody can say that the Eagles' offense doesn't look as good as it did with Kellen Moore last year. Even I was a critic at first.
I was about to get to that too. So when you have the Chargers, I misspoke by last year, but yes, with the places he's gone, he's learned a little bit from the offensive, masterminds he's been around, right?
Yeah.
So he's gotten a little bit better, and as time goes on, I think the Saints are going to improve to be a pretty good team. I don't think Spencer Rattler is going to be the answer, but it could be another one of those systems like over there with the 49ers where you could plug and play at quarterback and have some success. Now, with the 49ers, the one question I do have for you is, do you think they underutilized Brian Robinson as he's come over from the Commanders to them? He only had 6 carries for 20 yards on the day. Didn't really have much action last week either. I don't think it's ever been done, but a team that's traded a player away, do you think the Commanders could trade back for Brian Robinson now that Austin Eckler has that torn Achilles? Or will they go somewhere else?
Well, I'll put it to you like this. If the Saints keep losing, they want to rebuild. You have plenty of options. Again, you got Tony Pollard, you got Alvin Kamara. There are going to be teams who are going to be struggling that the Commanders could go and call. But as far as Brian Robinson goes, they're just keeping him fresh because they know Christian McCaffrey's going to get hurt after a while, so he'll be playing. I hate to say it,
acclimated with the playbook.
Hate to say it, but Christian McCaffrey, it never fails. And he has a bad ankle or a bad foot or a bad quad, and he gets injured almost every year. So you have to keep your other running backs ready.
You're absolutely right. And it's been a while since we've seen Christian McCaffrey healthy from start to finish for a season. We got a lot to look forward to for these two teams, hopefully to improve, but this could be a very long season for both San Francisco and New Orleans. And with our next game here, we've got the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens. This game was definitely, I might have clicked it a little bit too early because this one was definitely. You know it, and I know it. It was pretty bad. 41-17 was your final score over there in Baltimore as this divisional rivalry took place. Lamar Jackson was 19-29 for 225 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, with 2 carries for 13 rushing yards. Derrick Henry was pretty quiet on this day. 11 carries for 23 rushing yards, along with Zay Flowers, who had 7 receptions for 75 receiving yards. DeAndre Hopkins, 2 straight weeks with a touchdown as he had 2 receptions for 64 yards and a touchdown in this game. Devontae Walker only had 2 receptions for 26 yards, but both of those receptions resulted in touchdowns. He had 2 touchdowns on the day. Ravens defense had 2 sacks and a fumble recovery, along with an interception by Nate Wiggins. Joe Flacco, for the second straight week, throws for 45 passing attempts, concluding with 90 passing attempts for 2 weeks. He only completed 25 of those in this game. 199 passing yards, a touchdown, and an interception were his final statistics. They brought in Dylan Gabriel, who had 3 completed passes out of 3 attempts for 19 passing yards and a touchdown. Quinshon Judkins had 10 carries for 61 rushing yards, along with 3 receptions for 10 yards on the day. Jerry Jeudy, 4 receptions for 51 receiving yards, along with Cedric Tillman, who had 2 receptions for 22 receiving yards and a touchdown. Browns total penalties, 6 for 42 yards. Rob, looking back at this game, what do you think the reason was for the Ravens being able to mollywop the Browns without really putting up huge numbers on offense?
Well, actually, they did. The problem is that the Browns talked all week about how they were going to stop Derrick Henry, and they did that. But the problem is that the future 3-time MVP Lamar Jackson had 4 touchdowns, and whenever you allow him, he stood in the pocket. He made those passes. He did what he was supposed to do. The Ravens actually right now should be 2-0. Let's be honest. They should be 2-0, but the Bills put together a great effort last week, so we got to give them that.
Well, I might have misspoke with my apologies for the interruption, but how were they able to take this game without really having much of a rushing attack on offense? Because that's usually been their big thing that they've leaned on.
Well, it helped when the Browns head coach has a 40-plus-year-old quarterback throwing the ball 45 times a game. Because guess what? When you don't, and Quinshon Jenkins had 10 carries for 61 yards. When you have a guy who has 10 carries for 61 yards, you continue to feed. When you have a 40-year-old quarterback, you try to run the football a little bit, Drew. That's the problem. But the thing is that the Cleveland Browns put in Dylan Gabriel at the end of this game today. Joe Flacco should not see the field anymore the rest of the season. If it's not Dylan Gabriel, if it's not Shedeur Sanders, Joe Flacco should not see the field anymore, because the Cleveland Browns need to make a decision whether they're serious about football. Because right now you're showing me you're not serious about football when your 40-year-old quarterback is throwing the ball 45 times a game. When you had the Cincinnati Bengals beat last week, when this game was close for a while here, this game was close for a while. It was 10-3 for a long time. And then the Ravens just opened it up. Because when you have a quarterback who the players know is a statue back there, who the players know is not going to make a difference, players start to get frustrated, Drew. That's how the game started opening up big time, being 41-17. I mean, it's not much to say here. Joe Flacco needs to get off the field. He needs to stay off the field. This needs to be his last team. It's over. It's over. I don't know what else I can say. I mean, watching this game today, because I was flipping back between Dallas and the Dallas game, but I was watching this a lot too. And Baltimore is just one of those teams that their defense actually looks better without Jair Alexander on the field. But it helps me have a 40-year-old quarterback who's throwing the ball 45 times, only has 199 yards passing. So, yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, this game right here, it definitely showcased Joe Flacco looking old. Because the offense definitely had a little bit more of a spark in them in just that drive that Dylan Gabriel came in towards the end. So, with that being said, I expect them to turn to Dylan at some point throughout this season, and maybe we'll be one step closer to seeing Shedeur Sanders playing, depending on how this year goes for the Browns, because it's not looking good. Like you said, it's like they're playing with their food out there is what it seemed like. Between what you were saying and what I was thinking, is it literally seemed like they were playing with their food and making a mess, because that's what it felt like watching this game on CBS around 1 o'clock. So
a few teams that are fighting for the number 1 overall pick, including the next game we're going to talk about.
Absolutely. And before we do that, Ike doesn't give a fuck is in the house as he says, "What's up, fellas?" Along with my Giants suck. They did lay an egg in this game today, Ike.
Could be worse, Ike. Trust me. Could be worse. Trust me. Ask the Dolphins. Ask the Bears. Trust me. Could be worse.
It was.
That's terrible.
But it could have been worse, as Rob said. There were other teams out there that did pretty bad. And is that a total
Surprise, motherfucker?
It's not. Keep those comments coming, you guys out here in these streams. We'll bring them on up here throughout the show. We still have one more 1 o'clock game to get to, and we'll take it between the Bears and the Lions. And the Lions. Now, this one we could say they destroyed them. 52-21 is your final score here in Detroit at Ford Field, because they absolutely decimated this team in the Bears. Jared Goff went 23-28 for 334 passing yards and 5 touchdown passes. Along with Sonic and Knuckles getting busy in this game, Jahmyr Gibbs, 12 carries for 94 rushing yards and a touchdown. David Montgomery had 11 carries for 57 rushing yards and a touchdown as well. But the highlight of the offense went to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who had 9 receptions for 115 receiving yards and 3 touchdown receptions. Jamison Williams, 2 receptions for 108 receiving yards and a touchdown as well, along with the Lions defense, who put up 4 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, and an interception by Kirby Joseph. Fingernail man, Caleb Williams, 19-30 for 207 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns, along with an interception. He also added 5 carries for 27 rushing yards on the ground. DeAndre Swift, 12 carries for 63 rushing yards and a touchdown. But Rome Odunze finally got some big action, as he had 7 receptions for 128 receiving yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. Bears had a total of 8 penalties for 50 yards that it cost them. With this being our final 1 o'clock game to recap from the day there, Rob, what were your overall thoughts looking back at this divisional matchup between the Bears and the Lions?
You notice I changed my light to red, right?
I'm just waiting for you to bust in the Fiend mask.
I mean, hey man, hey listen, man, I'm about to. Hey, listen, you see how I'm changing? You see how I'm changing here?
Yeah.
This is exactly what the Bears need to be doing. It's exactly what the Bears need to be doing.
Chameleon eyes.
Yes, they do. I'm just changing colors because this is. I'm going to make this. I'm just saying, Drew. What I'm doing right now is more interesting to your audience than what the hell the Chicago Bears did today. What I'm doing right now, check me out. And look,
it's about to flash off here in a second. Oh, you even got that?
All right, seriously. Okay, let me stop. Okay, now listen. The Chicago Bears. So all week, what have we been hearing about, Drew? We've been hearing about Ben Johnson, right? You know what the Lions said today?
What's
F
that?
Ben Johnson. They said F Ben Johnson. They said, check this out. Jared Goff, 5 touchdown passes. Today they made a statement, and they asked earlier, did Did the Lions run the score up? You're damn right they did. They are so sick of hearing about Ben Johnson. They're so sick of hearing about the Chicago Bears. The Bears, listen, I'm telling you, man, Caleb Williams is about 5 seconds away from demanding a trade to another team. And I can see it happening because that team is an absolute disaster. Absolute disaster. And after what we saw from Minnesota tonight, they let that team come back on them. It's going to be a long, long, long season. Carl Winslow's not coming through that door in Chicago.
Carl on duty is not showing up. He is not showing up. And you're not going to get Urkel in there either. It's not happening.
You're not getting Urkel. You're not getting Laura. You're not getting Laura. You're not getting – well, you probably don't want Eddie. But
what was Eddie's friend, Skeeter or whatever? I forget. Not Skeeter, but what was his name? Waldo. Waldo. Yes.
Faldo.
Yes. Waldo Faldo.
Waldo Geraldo Faldo.
It's too many O's, bro. It's too many.
I'll tell you one thing.
I'll
tell you one thing, man. I tell you one thing. These Bears, man. Look, man. The Bears look worse than the Chicago Sky right now. Get injuries out of Chicago.
Man,
and that's bad when you look worse than the Sky. Damn.
That does it for our 4 p.m. for our 1 p.m. games. Let's take it on into our 4 p.m. games. And let's start it out with the Denver Broncos on the road in Indianapolis to take on the Colts. I don't know why I had a brain fart there for a second, but yes, the Broncos and the Colts over there in Indianapolis. And with this game right here, you got to take a look at the fact that Daniel Jones starting his second straight game for the Colts after all that stuff with Anthony Richardson over the past year or so. You know, they finally decided to start the year. They're going to go with Daniel Jones. And in this game, he did his job, 23 of 34 for 316 passing yards and a passing touchdown, along with 6 carries for 2 yards, but he did add a rushing touchdown on the day. Big stats come from Jonathan Taylor, who had 25 carries for 165 rushing yards and 4 receptions for 50 yards and a receiving touchdown. Alec Pierce added 4 receptions for 68 receiving yards, and Tyler Warren added 4 receptions for 79 receiving yards as well. Colts defense, although they were a little quiet on the day as a whole, they did have 1 interception by Cameron Bynum. Spencer Strader had 5 completed field goals out of 5 attempts, contributing 17 of the 29 points for the Indianapolis Colts. For the Broncos, Bo Nix, 22 of 30 for 206 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and an interception. J.K. Dobbins, or as I should say, just kidding Dobbins, 14 carries for 76 rushing yards and a touchdown, along with Troy Franklin, who had 8 receptions for 89 yards and a touchdown, and Marvin Mims Jr., who added 2 receptions for 24 yards and a touchdown, rounded out the receivers for this Colts team. Will Lutz, the special teams kicker, 0 for 1 field goals. He only contributed 4 extra point totals for this team, but missed a big field goal, which could have been the difference maker at the end. Looking back at this game right here, what are you more surprised at? The fact the Colts won it or the Broncos lost it?
I picked the Colts to win this game.
You did.
I did. I picked the Colts to win this game. Nothing matters to me in this game. I'll tell you why. The Colts missed the kick at the end of the game, and then the referee had the audacity to say leverage, personal foul leverage. What the fuck is leverage?
I'd never heard of that until now today either. That was wild.
That could be a song. I've got leverage. I've got leverage. I've got leverage in my bones. I've got leverage in my feet. Leverage. No, we stop. The Colts played a good game. Bo Nix played well in the first half, but struggled in the second half. Sean Payton can't blame Russell Wilson anymore. Sean Payton needs to get himself together. This defense is all world. This defense is top 5. But right now, Daniel Jones is playing a good brand of football. And Daniel Jones at Duke played a good brand of football. Sometimes you just need a change of scenery. Now, Jonathan Taylor had 165 yards rushing today. Still an early season, Drew. Very early season. But we'll see if the Colts can continue this. If they can, the Colts are a dangerous team with that defense, and they could be very exciting. They could be the Minnesota Vikings of 2025-26. But again, we'll see what happens with this team. But the Denver Broncos, once again, they have got to make sure that they keep Bo Nix under composure. He ended the season last year playing very well, even though he struggled at the beginning of this season. And the Broncos need to get more from J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins needs to have more than 14 carries for this team to be effective, because obviously their running game is not as effective as it needs to be right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really isn't. I mean, I couldn't agree even more than with the LA night transition right there, because this Indianapolis Colts team definitely looks strong. It's the first time since 2009 that they've gone 2-0 to start a season. And in 2009, they made it all the way to the Super Bowl, even though it was with Peyton Manning. That was the last time they've been 2-0 to start the year. With that being said, let's take it on.
And let me say, let me say this real quick too.
What's that?
I'll say this as well. The most underrated safety in the National Football League, who had 145 tackles total last year, has 9 through 2 games. Mr. Nick Cross, safety from the Indianapolis Colts, 3rd-round pick out of Maryland, 24 years old. You better watch him, folks. He's got Defensive Player of the Year written all over him.
You said it here in week 2. We'll have to look back here towards the end and see if the consistency remains with him, because that is a solid pick for that position right there. And now we have to take a look at the Carolina Panthers, who were on the road to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. And in this game, Rob, we saw some ups, we saw some downs between these two teams, but in the end, the Cardinals took the victory over the Panthers 27-22. Kyler Murray 17-25 for 220 passing yards, a touchdown and an interception, along with 7 carries for 32 yards on the ground. James Conner, 11 carries for 34 rushing yards, but did add a rushing touchdown on the day. And Trey McBride had 6 receptions for 78 receiving yards. The Cardinals defense, 3 sacks, along with a fumble recovery and an interception by Baron Browning. Chad Ryland on special teams added 2 completed field goals out of 2 attempts, contributing 9 points to the Cardinals total. On the other side, the most passing attempts for the day came from Bryce Young of the Panthers, who threw 55 pass attempts, completing 35 of them for 328 passing yards, 3 touchdowns with an interception. On the ground for Chuba Hubbard, 10 carries for 38 yards, and he also added 5 receptions for 39 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown. The receivers go Ted McMillan, 6 receptions for 100 receiving yards. And Hunter Renfrow turned back the hands of time as he had 7 receptions for 48 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. As a whole, the Panthers, though, had 7 penalties for 83 yards. Looking back at this game, Rob, when it comes to the Panthers and the Cardinals, what was the biggest reason why the Cardinals took this win at home?
Because the Cardinals actually decided to run the football 18 times. The Carolina Panthers, do they know that they have a guy in the backfield who ran for 1,000 yards last year? Rico Dowdle ran for over 1,000 yards last year behind a Cowboys line that wasn't not nearly as good as it is this year. That's another guy that could be a trade piece as well. Bryce Young had 55 passing attempts. He had 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 3 sacks. And Drew, again, I'm being serious here. Like I said, we've been having fun. We've been giving people the facts, but this is something that really bothers me. Can you tell me, could you explain to me just why the Panthers traded out Adam Thielen?
It really didn't make any sense. I mean, maybe because he just really wanted to go back home. But what other weapons do you really have? Because, I mean, it could have just been that Thielen was homesick, because this is more likely probably going to be his last year in the league. I just have a feeling based on how he played last year. But who knows? I mean, it really doesn't make too much sense, because they don't really have but so many options, you would think, until you see what Tech McMillan did today and Hunter Renfrow. They still have weapons to throw to.
True. I'll give you that. But let me go to this. Let me see. So going back to last year, yeah. He had 100, what was it, 23-24. He had 103 receptions 2 years ago? And then last year he only had 48, but still, at his age, at the age of 35, you can't use him in the slot? He wouldn't have made a difference in this game when Bryce Young was throwing to like a million different receivers. Listen, Drew, here's the problem. Arizona, for me, the last 2 weeks not that they've survived, but they've showed their grit. They've shown that they have resiliency, especially going to their game against the 49ers next week. The Panthers, man, I just fear that they're going to give up on Bryce Young too early, and Bryce Young is going to go somewhere else and thrive. If I'm teams around the league, I'm monitoring Bryce Young right now, especially if the Panthers do not decide to re-sign him in the offseason. I could see him going so many different other places. And I hate to bring the NBA into this. The Phoenix Suns have not been the same since they got rid of their owner for, let's say, discretionary reasons. The Panthers ain't been the same since Jerry Richardson left that team. Let's be very honest. This new owner is not a good owner. Yeah. Some of these new school owners are not good for sports. Yeah, of course, you got the Bombers and stuff like that, etc. But ever since Richardson has left this organization, it has not been run properly. This is a proud franchise. I hate to see it. And when you see a guy like Bryce Young getting killed in the pocket, having to run for his life at times, getting sacked 3 times, he played a great game, 325 yards. But guess what? The Cardinals just played better. So if you're Carolina, Drew, I don't know where you go from here, especially in the NFC South now, when the class of that division are the Buccaneers and the Falcons. You know, and if you're the Panthers, you got to play the Falcons, you play the Patriots, you play the Dolphins, Dallas, the Jets, and the Bills, and that's before November. Then you got to play the Packers, the Saints, the Falcons, 49ers, Rams, Saints, Buccaneers, Seattle, and then back at the Buccaneers. This team will probably win 4 to 5 games at most. But they got to play better than what they played today.
It's a lot of great facts, especially with
inconsistency, man.
Especially with what you brought up about, you know, what could happen with Bryce Young in the offseason, especially if this team doesn't get it together real fast. Because, yeah, Thielen would have worked out pretty well in the slot. Could have had like a similar role to what Wes Welker played when he played slot back in the day for the Patriots and especially for the Dolphins too.
The biggest thing is that Bryce Young trusts him. He trusts him. That's the biggest thing. He trusts him, and when Bryce Young was going through his worst moments, he was there to guide him. That leadership sometimes is so important. NFL teams just don't realize that.
It's another big reason too. That another big shout out to that, because yes, he is big time leadership. But the Vikings, we'll talk more about them here in a little bit, because
do we have to?
Where Bryce Young listened,
do we have to talk about that disaster?
That was pretty bad. It did end right before we got started. So unfortunately,
the darn Vikings disappeared more than Michael Cole's disappeared. Jesus Christ! Can you dig it, sucker?
And with our next game, which is our last one of the afternoon games, this one was between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Jesus Christ.
Of last year's Super Bowl. Yes, I know exactly how you feel. I'm in the same boat there, my man, because This game right here, the Swifties were at large. They absolutely were, because the Eagles beat them 20-17. Jalen Hurts 15-22 for 101 passing yards, 9 carries for 15 yards on the ground, and a rushing touchdown. Saquon Barkley remains hot with 22 carries for 88 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. Devontae Smith, 4 receptions for 53 receiving yards. The Eagles defense, though, 2 sacks with an interception by Andrew Makuba. In their total penalties as a team, 6 for 48 yards. As for the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, 16 of 29 for 187 passing yards, a touchdown, and an interception, along with 7 carries for 66 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. Travis Kelce, 4 receptions, 61 receiving yards, along with Tyquan Thornton, 2 receptions for 59 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown. The Chiefs offense, 4 of 12 on third down conversions, and only had a time of possession of 27 minutes and 26 seconds. Is this season over already for the Kansas City Chiefs? And what do you think the Eagles are going to do from here on out there, Rob?
I don't think the season's over for the Chiefs. I still think that first of all, that week 3 game is critical against the Giants. And I'm telling you now, if they don't get themselves together, by next week, the Giants could pull the upset of the they could pull the biggest upset since Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson.
Ooh!
Like man. It could get, but I'll say this.
Crawford over Canelo.
Oh no, that wasn't upset.
There were people out there that would think Canelo was going to win, though.
Because
I did pick Crawford though, like you did. That was still a solid pick.
Well, only reason people thought that is because they've been watching Jake Paul fight and they don't know boxing like this. So it's all good. It's all good. You know, not everybody can be like Drew and have over 10,000 on Instagram. By the way, congratulations, 10,000.
Thank you.
Hey man, just giving you props, man. Give me props.
I appreciate you, brother.
Give me props, man. But yeah, I think that looking at this game, something's going on with the Eagles too, and I don't know, man. It's just like they're 2-0, but it doesn't feel like they're 2-0. They're 2-0, but it feels like, because I think this division still doesn't come down to them and the Commanders, and I don't know. It's just something missing. Is it Kellen Moore? Is Kellen Moore the factor that's missing right now on their offense? Or is this team just playing with us? Are they going to get better as the season goes on? Because the bottom line is they're 2-0. The defense play opportunistic. Travis Kelce acts like he's on the juice half the time with his outburst.
Nobody got spit on this week.
Nobody got spit on. I mean, I don't know if the wall booty at home is making him a little pissed off. I don't know what's going on. I mean, of course, he don't care about that because he's spending all her cheese, so it doesn't really matter. I just don't know, man. Like this game at times had me sitting back like, damn, Andy Reid is really about to retire soon.
Yes, it did feel that way.
And another thing too. A lot of people want to talk about this. Ever since Eric Bieniemy left, that offense ain't looked the same. Just hate to say it. I know people don't want to. I know people don't want to say it, but since Eric Bieniemy left, that team has not looked the same on offense. Sorry, and stop getting people arrested on the Chiefs. They're starting to turn to the Bulldogs of Georgia.
Oh my brother, testify!
Hey, and Chris Jones at the end of the game said, "You ain't even have 100 yards passing." And you know what I would have said to him? I can't remember what Jalen Hurts said. You know what I would have said? I said, look at the scoreboard. Y'all lost again. Y'all lost again. I mean, it's just if you're the Chiefs, man, you got to go with it. You got to go into Jersey next week and beat them guys by 30. Because if you don't, and if the Giants beat them, oh my God, it's about to get bad.
It is. It will be life-changing for this franchise, I think, if they go 0-3 to start it and you go against a team that this is literally the dumpster Pelican Bowl of the week is what it feels like, because you got two teams that are 0-2 facing off in prime time. Whoever wins, it could be the shift in tide for having a decent season. Whoever loses, it could be the continuance of a very, very, very long road ahead.
But Drew, remember this though. Russell Wilson is the first quarterback in the AFC West to beat Patrick Mahomes first.
Very
believe.
True.
Yeah. When he was with the Broncos, even through that disaster, he still beat Patrick Mahomes first. Yes, he did. Wow.
He could carry that over into this game, with it being with the New York Giants now, and he did throw for as well as he did in the game that we covered for our first game here on the slate. We will definitely get to previewing that here shortly when we get to the 2-minute drill, but we still have one more game left for Sunday, and that is Sunday night.
Oh, Jesus. check your messages. I sent you something related to this game.
Oh, God. All right. Let's see. In real time, let me bring this unit up. But speaking of real time, I have to bring this up right here because the game ended so late, didn't have a chance to add it to it. And there we go. 22-6 was the final score. And in real time, let me check and see what Rob sent me in the messages. As he said, wait, he says, so the guys you want to throw the ball to are the one wearing the purple jersey. It's showing, hang on, it's showing this. So you have McConnell and you have J.J. McCarthy. And in that caption that I said right there, the camera should get it. I think it is. But I just said it, and I'll say it again. So the guys you want to throw the ball to, are the ones wearing the purple jerseys. And speaking of which, that affected them as the Vikings lost 22-6 to the Falcons and Michael Penix Jr., who had 13 completions for 21 attempts, 135 passing yards, and 1 passing touchdown. As Tyler Algier had 16 carries for 76 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. Bijan Robinson, 22 carries for 143 rushing yards, along with 3 receptions for 25 yards on the day. Kyle Pitts, 4 receptions for 37 yards, and Drake London's 3 receptions for 49 yards round out the offensive production for this team. The Falcons defense, they were the busiest on the day as they had 6 sacks as a whole, 2 fumble recoveries, and 2 interceptions by Billy Bowman Jr. and Xavier Watts. For the Vikings, with Robb's meme making a joke at this quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, 11 completions out of 21 attempts for 158 passing yards and 2 interceptions, along with 5 carries for 25 yards. Justin Jefferson added 3 receptions for 81 receiving yards and a touchdown, along with Jalen Naylor, who had 3 receptions for 31 receiving yards. The Vikings had a total penalty count of 8 for 50 yards. I know you don't want to talk about it, but we got to. What are your overall thoughts at this dumpster Pelican Bowl between these two teams playing like this? Primarily the Vikings.
I mean, I don't know what's worse, J.J. McCarthy's performance or the Astros losing to the Braves and staying a game out of the damn division. Somehow the Mariners are leading the division right now, which is crazy.
Hey, Cal Raleigh's been crushing this year.
Oh my God, he's an MVP. But we'll get to that another day, another time.
Mm-hmm.
JJ wasn't so dynamite tonight.
He was another kind of dynamite, and it was this. He was on fire one way. Was he the number 1 dumpster Pelican in this bunch in the landfill that we have here on screen?
Hey, look, man. I just listen. I watched this game. Bijan Robinson could have, if he wanted to, if the Falcons had wanted to, he could have probably ran for 300 yards in the game if they had really tried to make an effort for it to happen. I saw Justin Jefferson tonight on the sidelines. I'm pretty sure there was a fight in the locker room. I'm pretty sure that JJ McCarthy's going to need surgery. I mean, not surgery. Well, he probably might need surgery after somebody takes him out with a lead pipe or something. I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on. And listen, if I'm Justin Jefferson, I go hire Brock Lesnar with that ponytail and all to ragdoll him like he's gonna do
like John Cena,
like he's gonna do John Cena at WrestlePalooza,
the stupidest PLE event of all time,
hey,
the stupidest name.
Drew, Wrestle. Hey, listen, the game. I'm the game. I'm bringing you WrestlePalooza. Well, listen, it may be bad, but it is not nearly as bad as Jonathan J. McCarthy, who had.
You're gonna say Jonathan Cena in his heel turn.
Oh God, nah.
You.
Oh God, no. The game can't have any heels bigger than him because he's the game. Anyway, 2 interceptions, 6 sacks. But I have to give credit to this Falcons defense. They came out, they played hard, they played their hearts out. I appreciate how they looked tonight. Michael Penix could have had bigger numbers, but players were fumbling balls, they were dropping passes, etc. Drake London has to play better. Kyle Pitts has to continue to improve. Like I said, the defense played really well. Mr. Romeo, not Tony, but Parker Romeo. What kind of name is that? Hey, guys. Hey, class. Announce yourself. Hi, guys. I'm Parker Romeo.
Or as Ike just reminded us, Jonathan Cena.
And look. Parker Romeo is 28, and he looks like he looks like a combination of George Costanza and that dude that was on Unsolved Mysteries that time who robbed the bank. And who the hell decided? Hey, look, who the hell shaped this beard up, son of a bitch? Anyway, I'm sorry. Okay, so look, Drew, the Vikings have no running game right now. They have Jordan Mason, who's out of Georgia Tech. He's not playing well. JJ McCarthy, who looks like Zach from Saved by the Bell. I mean, because guess what?
Blonde hair, though.
It's not all right. He's not getting saved by the bell. It's not all right. I mean, Justin Jefferson plays his heart out. They really need Nelson. They really need their second receiver, Jordan Addison, to get back because they are definitely missing him right now. Jordan Mason had 2 catches. Hawkinson only had 1 catch. Thielen only had 2 catches. You call him what you call him? Jalen Naylor? I'm just gonna call him Nails.
Nails
only had 3 receptions for like 31 yards. I mean, this is bad, man. And the Vikings should be 0-2. They should be 0-2 right now if it hadn't been for those cowardly Lions, those cowardly Bears on Monday giving that lead up. JJ McCarthy was with his war paint stuff, didn't work tonight. His war paint. I'm going to war. Jesus Christ.
That's terrible.
Oh, God, I told people it's going to be a good game too, man. Oh, God, I feel so bad.
Well, in the middle of it, felt like somebody. We got to pause that. It was that bad.
Is that the Michael Jackson T-Boo glove? What the fuck is that?
There was no at the end.
Yeah, that was more like a Shout out to Goofy.
Yes. Yeah, some of you out there might be saying, what? But he's referring to the Disney character. But yes, this game right here was just so. I almost dropped the F-bomb. It was just bad.
It was fudgy.
So bad. Just as bad as the name Wrestle
Palooza.
Palooza. Yes, we are here for episode 101 of Total Football Talk. Guys, we're going to do a quick commercial break. We'll be back here in about 2 minutes to give you the 2-minute drill for the upcoming games for the last one for week, well, the last two for week 2, and the upcoming games for week 3. We'll see you here on the other side of this commercial break.
All right, let's go. We got trips, right? At 42, 989. On two. Ready? Ready.
We're just getting started. Total Football Talk will return right after this. Join Ryan McCarthy.
I became a Jets fan because Kermit the Frog was my favorite Muppet because he was green, and the Jets wore green. That's how I became a Jets fan.
And Dustin Henry.
ESPN is cashing all in on let's pay a few personalities and we'll just kind of fill in the gaps.
As they walk you through all of the world of sports from their perspective.
The Albany Empire, it's a literal circus.
No credentials required. Where, Ryan, say the tag.
Where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on YouTube and where you can find podcasts.
Hey, what's good, everybody? This is your boy Corey, host of The Grind, where we talk about all things WWE. You can catch The Grind every single Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern. 4 p.m. Eastern, right here on Sertoba Media. And if you're not following Sertoba Media, then what are you doing? Like, share, subscribe. There are many different things that we have available on Sertoba Media for your viewing pleasure. And I mean, what else you got to do on a Saturday afternoon? Come spend some time with me. Come spend some time with my colleagues on this platform. Help us be able to bring everything that you all want to see. Matter of fact, you know what? If you ain't did it yet, I got something for you. Stay true to what you do. Stay true to why you do. And always stay true to you.
Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Do you like talking sports? Do you like entertainment? Do you like the occasional series of heated discussions?
Are you in and out, Drew?
With that said,
Drew, I'm hearing a bunch of stuff in your mind. I know you know this team very well. Are you in and out, my friend?
Then you must see this. Drew Willingham versus random panelists. Who wins? You decide on the In or Out sports debate. Live. Whenever the we feel like it. Eastern Standard Time. Exclusively on Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Welcome back to Total Football Talk, episode 101. And yes, it is that time for the 2-minute drill. Myself, Drew Willingham, and Rob Johnson, we are back to bring you that 2-minute drill. Let's go ahead and take it on into the Monday night games for tomorrow night and take a look at what we have for the action. And we got to start it out with this game right here, which one of 2 games for tomorrow. And the first one is between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Houston Texans, Rob, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Who do you got in this matchup between these 2 teams?
I'm actually doing a show today where I'll be doing more analysis on the games. But as far as picking, I'll go ahead and get those now. I'm going to give it to the Texans, and I'm going to give it to the Raiders in an upset of the Chargers.
Okay. Good picks right there for Monday. So you said you got Texans and Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
I like your pick of the Raiders over the Chargers, but I am going to disagree. I'm going to go with the Buccaneers over the Texans for the first game.
I can see it. Mm-hmm.
Because of the way Baker's been playing, or at least he did in week 1. It's possible, but I think you got a good solid take with the Texans. They do need to wake up with C.J. Stroud in that offense. They've made some investments over this past offseason that need to pay dividends. But I really like what the Raiders are doing over there in Oakland and what Pete Carroll has done to change the culture over there. I think that's going to be a nice upset for the 10 o'clock game between these two teams. So with our Monday night games, that's our picks. We're going to go ahead and take this on into Thursday night and see what we have in store for that game. And in the Thursday night contest, we have two teams that are playing in this contest there, Rob, that is an absolute dumpster pelican-worthy matchup between the Dolphins and the Bills. I know who you're taking. You just said them.
I mean,
but how bad is it going to be?
I mean, I'm looking at 70 to nothing. I'm serious, man.
That's absolutely terrible if that actually comes through. We got the Bills over the Dolphins. I agree with you with that one. Can't take it away from you because that is an absolute terrible game we're going to be watching here on this week.
I'm watching Rice and Charlotte. I'm not watching that trash.
With that being said, let's take it on into Sundays. We got plenty of games to run through with that real quick. And here with the games on Sunday, let's start with all of the 1 p.m. games here. In the 1 p.m. games we have 9 in total. Starting with the Bengals and the Vikings, who do you have?
A tie.
No.
I got a tie. I'm sorry. I just can't. This is going to be absolutely horrible quarterback play here.
The first time in 101 episodes, we have declared a tie.
I got to have a tie, man. I just don't believe in either one of these teams. Sorry.
I think the Vikings wake up a little bit, especially with Burrow being out. I don't really have a lot of faith in Browning for the entirety of the game. So I'm going to go with the Vikings to try to get things back on track a little bit. But J.J. McCarthy needs to step it up. I mean, they are coming on a short week, which is why, coming into this game tonight, they had their challenges, along with the fact they announced, he did have a kid on Thursday. So he's running on short sleep. Not trying to make too many excuses for the 22-year-old. That is a lot to go through here to start out another week and start out a new season, especially your first as the starting quarterback. I'm going to go with the Bengals. You got a tie. Let's go to the next one.
Hey. Who's giving them the business?
Second game, Texans and Jags. Who do you have?
Texans.
I'm actually going to agree with you with the fact of going against the Texans in the Monday night game. I think that the Jags have exposed themselves enough, especially with Captain Duval. So I'm going with the Texans with you. And
Duval.
Hey. Who's giving them the business?
And Rob just gave him the business straight up. As we next have the Colts and the Titans. Rob, who's your pick for this one?
You know what's funny? I'm going to pick the Titans.
Really?
I think for some reason the Colts are going to be coming off a high. And I just think that for some reason, the Colts, when they go to Tennessee and they go to Jacksonville, things get weird. So I just think that for some reason, I think the Titans win this thing by a field goal. So things get weird when the Colts go on the road and play against the Jaguars and Titans. I don't know what happens to them. And you can go back to Peyton Manning. Something weird just happens. So yeah, I'll give it to the Titans by a short margin.
I was going to pick the Colts coming into this, but based on what you said, you just sold me. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going with the Titans in this game, too.
Hey. Who's giving them the business?
Our next matchup, the Las Vegas Raiders and the Washington Commanders. Who do you have here?
It's tough because the Raiders have people forget this is good. This is a rivalry a little bit because these teams played the Super Bowl a long time ago, but whenever they play each other, it's always very fierce. But the Commanders need this game. They cannot afford to go 1-2. So I'm going to give it to the Commanders, but they got to be very careful going against this Raiders team.
You would expect me to come up here and to pick the Commanders. I mean, as some people would. And I like what you said, But based on what I saw out of what the Commanders did this past week against Green Bay, even though Green Bay is a really good team on all three phases right now, I think based on what we said about the Raiders upsetting the Chargers, if that actually happens tomorrow night on Monday, the momentum that they're going to have from 2 straight weeks and 2 straight wins, I think they have a really good chance at beating Washington on the road if what happens tomorrow night happens. So I'm going to go with a prediction of if the Raiders win Monday night against the Chargers, they're going to beat Washington in Northwest Stadium this upcoming week in week 3. However, if they do not win against the Chargers, the momentum deflates, and I agree with you that the Washington Commanders will win that game. But for the sake of debate, I'm going to go with the Raiders to win this one in Northwest Stadium.
Who's giving them the business?
Our next game, the Los Angeles Rams and the Philadelphia Eagles. Who do you have winning this one?
Rams by 9.
By 9?
By 9.
You think, okay, based on the way that the Eagles have played on offense, I think I'm going to agree with you on this one because they're not doing enough on defense to offset, and balance it out against a team like the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to agree with you here and go Rams too. I feel like it was time for a different transition there as we go from that to the Atlanta Falcons and the Carolina Panthers.
The Panthers have been known. The Falcons have been known to disappoint us. The Panthers need this game. I'm going to give it to the Panthers by a field goal.
Okay. I like your take on it. I just think with the way the Falcons played tonight, that's not going to happen in Carolina. I'm going to go with the Falcons in week 3 against the Panthers.
Who's giving them the business?
In our next game, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots. Who do you think wins this one?
Patriots. I just think that they're going to run the ball, and they're going to run it down Pittsburgh's throat, and Aaron Rodgers is going to make a mistake.
Okay.
Patriots.
I can see that happening, and for that, I'm going to agree with you. I've got Patriots in this one as well.
Who's giving them the business?
We probably shouldn't, but the question needs to be asked.
Oh,
Green Bay Packers and the Cleveland Browns. You got the Packers. I think without a doubt anybody's going to say Packers here.
Who's giving them the business?
In our next one, our last one of the 1 p.m. game.
Hold on, Drew. I was debating Cleveland, but never mind.
Really?
No. Never mind.
No.
Green Bay. Thanks, buddy.
Okay. You came back to surface.
Who's giving them the business?
In our last 1 p.m. game, we have
Jesus
the New
Christ.
York Jets and the Tampa Bay Bucks. Who wins this one?
I'm going to give it to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
No, there's no
Shocking.
surprise there.
Shocking.
No shocker whatsoever. I'm all with you on this. The Bucks win this game.
Who's giving them the business?
And now we have the 4 p.m. games to look at. There's 4 of them in this week when it comes to the 4 p.m. preview. Let's take a look at what we have in store for the 4 p.m. games. Denver Broncos at 4:05 take on the Los Angeles Chargers. Who do you think has that one?
Denver gets their act together. They beat the Chargers.
You think the Chargers lose? The Chargers lose 2 straight games?
Hey, listen, here's the thing. Even though they played well in Brazil, this ain't Brazil. This is America. It's America. Even if they're back on the soil, American soil. And we know that when it comes to American soil, the Chargers do Charger things.
I'm going to take this, and I like the Chargers things on American soil. Take you just that was nice. But I'm going to go with this, very similar to how I did with the Raiders. If the Chargers lose on Monday night, I'm with you and the Broncos win. Okay, if the Raiders do actually win. But if the Chargers actually win that game against the Raiders, I have a feeling that they can carry that momentum into this 4:00 game. But I did say the Raiders more than likely will win, and because of that, I'm going to side with you and say that the Chargers actually win this game.
Who's giving them the business?
Oh, wait, no, I'm going to side with you and say the Broncos actually win this game. I misspoke, but you know what I'm saying. The next one for the 405 games, New Orleans Saints and Seattle Seahawks. Who wins this one?
Give it to Seattle. No, I don't. No, you know what? Upset here. I'm gonna give it to the Saints. I think Spencer Rattler comes into Seattle and has a decent game, and I think Sam Darnold throws a late game pick and helps the Saints get the upset in Seattle.
That would be a great story if that happens. And I want to agree with you here, but I just have a feeling that Sammy's going to keep it up and lead this team to a second straight win here and at home. I'm going to go with Seattle with the win over the Saints here at 405.
Hey. Who's giving them the business?
And for our 4:25 p.m. games, the first one between the Dallas Cowboys and the Chicago Bears. Dallas Cowboys 1-1, Bears 0-2. Do the Bears fall for their third straight loss?
Yeah, I have the Cowboys. I mean, they better win this week because the week after they play Green Bay, and the guy who never gets any stats, but for some reason ESPN has him as an MVP candidate, is coming to town. Yeah. So I have the Cowboys. I think their offense will explode. Hopefully for them, of course they signed Jadeveon Clowney today, so he'll help bring some pressure off that edge, and hopefully for them they'll get DeRon Bland back or possibly sign a player this week. But the Bears are just in a complete and utter. Caleb Williams has probably already got a U-Haul at the house right now, waiting because he just wants to get out of Chicago. It's just that bad. But I don't know.
That is terrible. I'm going to go with Dallas as well, based on the way Chicago's played. And Dallas needs to keep the momentum going if they want to have a chance of contending for.
And we actually had a George Pickens sighting today. So I mean, hey, if that continues, the offense. And one thing I have to give Dallas, the running game is actually better than what people thought it was going to be, and they're actually playing really good football. So I mean, but who knows, man? I mean, if they keep giving them those 9 routes, who knows? Rumor Doomsday could have like 16 receptions next week for like 3,000 yards, and
Those legs will be tired if he gets 3,000 receiving yards in a game, man.
You see what the Giants did yesterday. Shit. I mean, Wan'Dale Robinson would look like a Hall of Famer.
He did. That might
like
be
a
his
Hall of
career
Famer
game right there.
Yeah, man.
For his whole career by the time he retires, who knows?
Oh shit.
Who's giving them the business?
In our last game from the 4 o'clock slate, Arizona and San Francisco. The Cardinals take on the 49ers at 4:25. Who do you have in this one?
I want to pick the Cardinals because I've actually had the Cardinals as one of my Super Bowl hopefuls because I thought they would have a really good offense and their defense be better. But I mean, I have to be very clear when I say this. Even though I'm a fan of Arizona, until San Francisco loses, until Christian McCaffrey gets hurt and he's no longer on the field, I got to go San Francisco, man. I just have to go San Francisco. Even though last year the Cardinals beat them twice, right now, until after, especially what I saw with the Carolina Panthers late against Arizona, I have to give it to San Francisco, but it wouldn't surprise me if Arizona pulled this game. So this is one of those. This is a pick'em game, actually. This is a pick'em.
So you have a similar feeling with the Cardinals like you did with the Steelers from week 1, where the Steelers beat the Jets and then couldn't show up in week 2. So you think because the Cardinals barely won against a Saints team like they did this week, that it's going to be like that in the upcoming week and they're going to lose the 49ers?
It's not that. It's just that the Saints, the 49ers, they have a lot of pride. But eventually they're going to start getting hurt, and it's not going to matter. The 49ers have a lot of pride right now. So it's in San Francisco. But like I said, it would not shock me if the Arizona Cardinals came out and won this football game. But for right now, they're at home. They have some momentum. I have to give it to San Francisco, even though I think Arizona can win this football game. So this is kind of a hard one for me, but I'm gonna give it to San Francisco.
And I misspoke. I meant Cardinals versus the Panthers in week 2 in comparison to the Steelers and the Jets in week 1. But you knew what I was saying. With that, I really like your take with that. And based on the plug-and-play system with the 49ers, I'm going to agree with you here and say I'm going to go with the 49ers winning this game at home against said Cardinals team.
Who's giving them the business?
And then we have one game from Sunday Night Football that we have to take a look at from week 3. We'll save the preview for Monday's game next week. But for this, the Kansas City Chiefs, we just talked about the Dumpster Pelican Bowl of the week between the two 0-2 teams. This upcoming Sunday night at 8:20 p.m. Eastern time on NBC. Who do you think wins this one, Rob, between these two teams, the Chiefs or the Giants?
Well, look, here's the thing. That Chiefs offensive line is beat up. And people can say what they want to about Giants. That defensive line is fierce. That secondary is not. But the Chiefs' turnovers are really starting to bother me. And if you punch the Chiefs in the mouth, they can be rattled. Malik Neighbors is going to have to literally catch 10-plus balls next week to win that game. I'm going to give it to the Giants, man. I think Russell has 2 straight great games. I'm going to give it to the Giants. I think the Giants are going to win this game. I don't know why I feel that way, but I feel like the Giants, and it's going to probably blow up in my face. The Chiefs are going to probably win 45-0, but I'm going to give it to the Giants, man.
In order for Russell to keep the game as close as he did against the Cowboys, he had to throw for 450 yards. Okay. I don't see him throwing for 400 yards against the Chiefs defense. I really don't.
But I can see the Giants getting some turnovers against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And that would be the difference. He's not throwing for 400, but they can damn sure get some turnovers against that Chiefs team.
Which would set them up a pretty decent field position and could definitely help tip the scales there. I just don't see Russ throwing for 400-plus yards. I don't even see Russ throwing for 300 yards against the Chiefs. I mean, that's going to be tough. Yeah. I mean, look at what Jalen Hurts did. He only threw for 100 passing yards, and as a whole, their rushing attack wasn't really existent against the Eagles.
Drew, when it comes to Jalen Hurts, I'm not even going to go there, buddy, because I'm not trying to get the response in Philadelphia. But we've seen him the first couple of weeks. I'm not going to say anything about Jalen Hurts. I like Jalen, but I'm just going to I'm going to be nice when it comes to Jalen. But I will say this, 250 yards passing is what I see from Russ, 250 to 275.
And you think that's going to be enough?
I think it'll be enough because I don't like what Kansas City's doing with not being able to hold on to the football. Look at Travis Kelce today. He's the reason they lost the game. He had the ball in his hands. You have so many injuries. You don't have your leading receiver. He's out for suspension. Xavier Worthy's going to be out again probably with that separated shoulder. I mean, as effective as Dallas was today, the Giants had opportunities on defense. And their defensive line and Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns, those guys are really physical. And again, Drew, I think if you can beat Kansas City, if you can hit them in the mouth, I just have a feeling that this game is going to be closer than what people think. And I have a feeling that Kansas City is going to make a mistake late and the Giants are going to upset them. And it's going to set off a chain of events. It's just weird to me. Again, Russ is not going to throw for 400 yards, but 250 to 275 should do. Run the football because, and here's the biggest factor. That Cam Scatterboo is he's a weapon. And I'm telling you, he is going to make an impact next Sunday night. Trust me when I tell you this. Next Sunday night, Cam Scatterboo is going to reintroduce himself to the nation on Sunday Night Football. That was a great pick by the Giants. That dude is a star in waiting. He is a faster Mike Allstott.
I really like your take on that, and definitely this show next Sunday night will be here to recap that game. And even though I like your take, we can't agree with everything. Even though this isn't the sports debate show, that's on ice until October, but with this, I'm going to have to disagree, even though I will not be surprised now of what you just said. If that happens, I am going to go Chiefs. I just feel like they don't start the season 0-3. And the Giants, I did predict to start 0-3 to start with this. So I'm gonna stick with that for this one, but I will not be surprised based on what you just said.
And just wait for next week in MetLife Stadium. You're going to start to hear the Scatterboo chants. Scatterboo! I'm telling you. Because that dude is different. That dude, You can see the difference between Arizona State this year and Arizona State last year. That dude was he was drafted in the wrong spot. That dude is a star, and that dude is a football player. Just saying, man. It's gonna get the NFL has been very interesting this season. And when you have guys like that who make it more interesting, I'm telling you, next Sunday night, Chiefs, Giants, MetLife Stadium. Oh my God, it's gonna be special.
Hey, who's giving them the business?
I hope so, because you're selling it more than anybody else I've seen talking about this game.
Hey, look, it's gonna be more special. It's gonna be more special than the short. Never mind. Let me be nice. Never mind.
Let's take it to the post game.
As long as it's one.
This has been a fun episode for number 101. And here in the post game, so we give our final thoughts based on what we saw from this past week or what we're predicting for this upcoming one or any NFL football related news. Rob, I'll let you go ahead and take it first here in the post game.
Drew, what the hell was the WNBA thinking about going up against the NFL? What the hell were they thinking? They really thought they were going to beat the Cowboys and Giants in the 1 o'clock slot? You really thought you were going to beat Aaron Rodgers in the 1 o'clock slot? I mean, just what the hell were they thinking? They need to get back to actually ending the season in August. But anyway, I'll say this, Drew. So far, these first 2 weeks of NFL football have been very exciting. But there's one thing that has to change. Some of the officiating decisions, especially in that Giants game, some of the calls that went against the Giants were absolutely horrendous. Horrendous. Some of those calls against the Giants, especially I think that late pass interference call, I think it was in the fourth quarter, horrible. So they got to do better with the officiating. Other than the officiating, Drew, man, this NFL season, you want to talk about 2 weeks that have just been absolutely exciting, exhilarating, and just off your chair. NFL's on fire, dog. They're the best thing in North America right now. That's what I got.
They absolutely are. I mean, you cannot expect to go against the NFL when you are the WNBA. Especially at that time slot. Great argument that you bring there. At least they didn't do it on Thursday.
Oh, well, and for those who know, it's the Women's National Basketball Association. For context.
Because, you're right. Not everybody knows. Some people might be a little clueless out here in these streams when it comes to that. So, but with my post game, first of all, I got to thank Rob for showing up tonight. The time that we are live, not really orthodox for most people, but he and I both are used to working nights for our full-time career. So, it kind of worked out perfect for me. It's a lot easier than me getting up at 8 o'clock in the morning to do a 2 to 2.5 hour show on a Monday. And then several hours later, go to work and work all night. So this absolutely fun. Going to have a lot of fun chopping up shorts from this episode because we absolutely crushed it. And anytime Rob wants to come back, talk football, seat is open to you, brother. This was an absolute blast tonight. We'll be back next week, or I'll be back next week with 102. If Rob's available, I don't want to put him on the spot, but he's welcome to come back. 102 will be next Sunday. The following Sunday, I think I might be taking that one off just to give you guys a heads up because I'm currently working on a memorial video for a former baseball teammate who was killed in an automobile accident last month and doing it for his family. A big memorial video to put on the internet. So whenever they look back and they think about him, they'll have something that'll be really cool to look back with all the memories. I've been getting flooded with so many videos and photos. I got like 800 different files between what friends, his family, his mom, so many people have sent me over the past couple of weeks. I look forward to putting this out. It'll be out September 30th, Tuesday, September 30th. It'll be called Regardless We Move, the Tavon Dawson story. And there will be a promo out for the official release here within the next couple of days. Been working hard on that. Been working hard within Total Football Talk, as you guys saw tonight, between all the different graphics and Total Football Talk Extra, which is on Fridays to recap the Monday night game and the Thursday night games, as well as Canadian Football League action with Ryan McCarthy every Friday afternoon. So we still have a lot going on here for Sartoba, as well as, The Grind, a wrestling podcast every Saturday with Corey Mann discussing the latest in WWE news. So, yes, check it on out because
I'm the game.
I'm the game. And his thoughts on WrestlePalooza have actually been going wild the past few weeks ever since the announcement of that. So get ready for that here in 6 days from today. We have WrestlePalooza on ESPN. So between the football action, between the professional wrestling action, you got a lot here with Sartoba. Make sure you check out Robb, though, on LegacyMaker Sports, where he definitely has some great content. With what you've been doing with Larry Patterson, I've been checking that out here on Facebook, Robb. And just a shout out to you. I know you gave me a shout out for some of my recent accomplishments.
Definitely.
You two, you and Larry are a great team, and it shows in the conversations that you both have. You and I have a chemistry from the past, where we can get up here and it flowed great tonight. But you guys keep up what you're doing, especially with Robb Johnson Media, where you have right there with your shirt. Keep it up with him and his Game Time Sports that he has. Keep that up each and every week, because I enjoy watching that whenever I get a chance, because you know how both you and I, our schedules are crazy. But it's nice to be able to see other people doing things later in the evening, especially that kind of accommodate to my time when I can check it out. But the facts that you guys bring, especially with Larry talking, local football here in Virginia and what he's done with high school sports, you guys have come together and done some special things on here, and it's been a joy to watch. Keep it up with him.
Yeah, and I have an episode. I have Robb Johnson Sports Show episode, I think 103. I think it's 103.
Nice. Congratulations on 100 episodes.
I think it's 103 at noon, about 10 hours from now. But I will be talking and destroying both the UCLA Bruins and the Virginia Tech Hokies. And I'll be talking WNBA. I'll be talking WNBA, and I'll be talking about how Caitlin Clark had 40. Oh wait, that's right. Never mind.
Make sure you drop some of these. You gotta have the upsets of the week. But with that being said, I am Drew Willingham. That was Robb Johnson. With that being said, everybody, we've only got one thing left to do, and that's look at one badass outro. I am Drew Willingham. From me to you, as always, please stay safe out here in these streets.
Music.
Robb came back.
My bad. I was trying to hit the thing. I like your music and the stuff you got. I was trying to hit it, and the thing went off. I was like, I love the music. It's like, because look, let me tell you guys something. Drew has some very interesting music. When the music came on tonight, I was vibing to the music, and then I saw a highlight. Then I saw Tim Hasselbeck on my screen, and I kind of got angry. So I'm like, damn it, Tim Hasselbeck. What an underachiever.
One thing we will not underachieve is with the outro. As I'd slid into it, and then you came back in, so I was like, I want to do it the proper way now that you are back. Glad that you were able to make it back. Glad that you were here for episode 101. We've only got one thing left to truly do before we get on out of here. Let's look at one semi-badass outro. From Robb Johnson, I am Drew Willingham. Everybody, please, on the words
don't
of
get
Robb,
captured by aliens. Don't get
captured by aliens. And most importantly, don't get captured by aliens, please stay safe out here in these streets.